Park run here in Sydney, Australia. This is the Cooks River Park Run. If you like these videos, if you find them helpful, give it a thumbs up, man. If you thumb it up, it helps me. If you thumb it down, it also helps me as well. Whatever, just don't leave the video about a like or a dislike. It just helps it push it out there into the stuff so that other people get this valuable information. Free running tips, free speed. What does free speed mean? Free speed means for the same workload, let's say you give it a 10 out of 10 effort in a race, you go faster. You're still doing 10 out of 10. Or let's say you're doing 5 out of 10 effort, but you go faster for 5 out of 10. Free speed. So it could be like drafting behind someone. It could be wearing less clothing so you're cooler in a hot weather. Today it's pretty hot. I ran no singlet. I wore my vegan hat because I like to fly the flag out front. Today I got second, around like a 17 something, low 17s. First place was Paul, then like a 15-15, and I don't know what happens when I try and go do a park run, trying to win it. And these super fast guys turn up. A few weeks ago, Riley Cox is an Australian runner. He ran a 14:18. 14:18. He's a vegan as well, Adelaide boy, and he set the all-time Australian park run record at the moment. 14:18. And so I like to steal from all these runners I meet around the world, Thailand, the Kenyans, Ethiopians, Ugandan runners, Aussie runners, American runners, and try and glean tips off them. Nutrition tips, technique tips, clothing tips, just so I can incorporate that into my lazy man. I'm a lazy person. I run once a week. You know, I've done maybe 400 Ks this year, and it's Christmas Day 2019. So I'm a lazy runner. I like to get the full benefits with the least amount of effort. That's just me. Human nature, whatever you want to call it, lazy, slack, whatever. So the things I've learned from the best runners in the world that I've ever met is nutrition's everything, man. High carb. The more carbs you eat, the more sugar your muscles can contract with, the more fuel you'll have. You have a better mood. Mood is everything. And we'll get to that in a second, but the carbohydrates let you feel better. You know, the serotonin and the dopamine, they give you motivation. When you do a low carb diet or run out of carbs, depression kicks in. That's why all the low carb people popping all these depression pills, because they're so down from not enough carbohydrates, serotonin and dopamine to the brain. All right? So dopamine, serotonin, very, very important for mood. But more importantly is the sugar helps the muscles contract. All right. What's the point of having these fancy shoes, which we'll get to in a sec, if you don't have the muscle glycogen to run at your best? Not my best, not their best, not their best, their best, your best. You know, the carbs help you do that. So high carb, low fat, vegan, plant-based, vegetarian, whatever you want to call it, you'll have better performance there. Just try it for 30 days. No dairy, no meat, no animals. And try and do no oil as well, because the oil makes your red blood cells stick together. All right? So when you've got sticky red blood cells, the oxygen can't go to your working muscles. So that's like reverse blood doping. If your red blood cells can't freely go to all your capillaries and veins and arteries, because they're clumping together, they're clotting together, the clotting factor 5 has been released from the olive oil or the lard or the margarine or the butter or the grass-fed dairy, and your red blood cells are clotting together, then you won't get that full performance benefit that you would get. You'll miss out on the free speed. It also can give you blood clot, which could be really bad. So that's the nutrition there. Don't eat too much as well. Don't eat too much. So many runners eat way too much food before they race in the morning. This morning I had a couple of pieces of crystallized ginger. All right, you need your 10 grams of carbs per kilo body weight per day. So a 70 kilo runner needs about 700 grams of carbs a day to stay sane and motivated for training and for red blood cell production. So, but you don't want to eat too much beforehand. So the night before, have dinner earlier, so you're not waking up super full. And for breakfast, have something very light, just some ginger, piece of fruit. You don't need much to run. A marathon, just have your 100 grams of sugar water. And then during the event, assuming it's a marathon, etc., half marathon, have your 100 grams of sugar per hour. And then afterwards, carb the fuck up. But don't eat too much beforehand. All right, people can't wake up, they have a big bowl of oats and porridge and too much food for a 5k, and it's bounced around their gut. So in most of the races in the morning, you want to be mindful. Don't eat too much. Right? Eat less before you run. Eat enough during the day, but eat less before you do it. So, and by eating enough calories every day, it means that your blood pressure will be great. Okay, and your blood pressure is very, very important for running. So eat less before you do a 5k, and you'll go a lot faster. You might feel a bit hungry and light, but that's good. That's good. Have a cup of water. Have a piece of fruit. Go out and do your park run, do your 5k. That's game changer. I used to always, cycling's different. You can have a bit more food in your gut as a cyclist, but as a runner, the gut's so sensitive. You're bouncing up and down. I feel really good. Christmas Day, and every day's Christmas, so isn't it? So that's what you want to do: is nutrition, shoes. You want to have something that's light. These are the best shoes in the world. I don't normally rate Nike shoes. I was a big Nike collector back in the day, but then I got into the Brooks and the Asics, and the Ultra shoes are really good as well. But the Nike Next Percent, if you want a PR, get a pair of Nike Next Percent, 100%. Nike Next Percent, best running shoe ever made. If your goal is to get PRs, if you're not using Nike Next Percent, then you're running slower. You're missing out on free speed, 100%. Missing out on free speed if you're from 5k to the marathon. Missing out on free speed. They're not cheap. They're a rip-off. Made in China for $5-10, whatever. And there's $3.20 Aussie, but you're getting free speed. So if it's worth it, get them. Clothing. Let's talk about clothing. You don't want to have too much clothing on if it's warm out there. Less clothing's better. You'll be able to run faster. So obviously, if you're in a race where you've got to run a singlet, find out if you actually have to do that. And if you don't, you can pin your number on your shorts. And if you're a female, obviously you can't run topless, but wear a minimalist sports bra, or bikini top, or whatever you can sort of get away with there, and you'll be a lot cooler. The ideal marathon running temperature is about 7 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold. And the reason why that's ideal is the body doesn't get too hot. It can go a lot harder. When you're hot, got a hat on, or long hair, or a lot of clothing on, long shorts, then your central governor nervous system is always saying, hey, be careful, we're getting too hot over here. And you have a lot more negative thoughts, and negative thoughts can kill your drive to really keep pushing it at the top level, your top level. All right? Don't compare yourself with others, compare yourself with how fast you could go. So stay cool. If it's really cold, wear some gloves and a little beanie, but try and wear as little as possible up top and on your legs. Otherwise, you're just going to hit yourself up, and your recovery is going to be down, things like that. Another one is blisters. Take care of your blisters. People say, I've got blisters in these shoes are poor quality. No, that's such bullshit, man. I used to work in the footwear shops back in the day. Love selling running shoes. People say, I don't wear Nikes, or I don't wear Asics, because one day I got blisters, and my mum said that's poor quality. It doesn't mean shit, man. It means that you haven't adapted to that shoe yet. Your skin hasn't adapted to the shoe yet. All right, so every shoe is different. There might be a little bit of stitching here and there, so just feel it in your hands, maybe file it out or cut it out, or do some little dodge jobs. But make sure you're used to the socks and the shoes you're going to wear race day. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue with blisters. All right, so you want to make sure that you're taking care of your footwear needs, blisters, etc. But a 5k, if you get a blister, it's not too bad, because you'll be done and dusted before too long. But then that can affect your training for the next week. So blisters aren't a sign of poor quality shoes or socks. Blisters are a sign that you've done something new, and your foot skin, the skin on your foot hasn't adapted to that. So you want to make sure that you're aware of that. Hydration. Your lungs are basically 85% water, and your lungs is everything for running. So you want to make sure that your lungs are properly hydrated. If you've got a dry lung, your performance is going down just a few seconds per K or per mile, then that's a really big issue. So you want to make sure that you have hydration. So aim for clear urine every 2 or 3 hours, and that'll keep your blood plasma up, keep your lungs functioning really well. Otherwise, you're going to be dry, and you miss out on free speed benefits, miss out on the mood benefits. Your blood plasma drops because you're more dehydrated. Even low-level dehydration can knock 30 seconds off your 5k. 30 seconds is a lot. So that's free speed, man. Drink enough water so you're piss and clear every 2 to 3 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours, piss and clear. Oh, that's too much urine. Well, if you got to this part of the video, then you're a performance-minded person, so you probably wouldn't even say that. But the average punter would be like, I don't get. It's like, man, I don't know. I love feeling good. I love not having to rely on drugs to feel good. I love having energy to do whatever I want to do. I love lucid thoughts, and hydration is the foundation of that. So we're on carbs, we're on hydration. Sleep's very important. Go to bed as early as possible. If you get woken up at night time, it doesn't matter. Don't go, I got woken up and have this grudge towards society for the next week. If you get woken up for whatever reason, the baby's crying, the dog shit the bed, you shit the bed, you roll into it and it stinks, whatever. Just get your rest, zone out, put something over your eyes, low heart rate, relax, all right? If you get yourself wound out, then you affect your recovery. You minimize free speed, all right? So you're not getting no speed then. What does this mean? No mo. No mo? Got a moustache on? Sydney, eh? But I don't think that person's getting much sleep. That looks like a pretty sterile place. So, sleep, water, sugar, we've done all that. Mindset, let's go about mindset, would be the last one. Actually got pacing as well. So mindset, you want to make sure that you're, just today in the park run, I was like, I might probably win this, and then straight away that Paul was there who ran the 15:15. He just launched out the gun like Riley Cox did the other day. So all of a sudden, okay, so I'm not going to win today, which is cool, and I'm going to get second. And this guy, I'm not even going to try and keep up with because he's just, I'm just going to totally blow up. So I didn't even try and jump on his legs. Let him go, which is a smart move, which is pacing as well. Run to what you could do, not what the other people can do. And but also you want to feed off them as well. So if they're close to you, then you can sort of keep running with them. But that first mile or first K, you want to hold back just a little bit, just a little bit. And then on the last half of the race, that's what's called the negative split, where the goal is to run faster on that negative split. When you're coming home, halfway point should be faster than the first part. Let's say you do a 20-minute 5K. If your first 2.5 is a 10:30, and then you do a 9:30, that's called a negative split, that's ideal. But if your first was a 9:30, your last is a 10:30, you're still doing your 20, but you didn't pace it as good. All right, so you make sure you go out easier and come home harder. And so the mindset was, okay, I switched down straight away to pace, focus on myself. And the mindset was, it's like, wow, that dude's fast. And all of a sudden you start focusing on other people, like, blah, 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 blah. And there's little voices, you ignore that. Be inspired, be like, okay, I'm going to keep pushing as well. And so when the turnaround came, I saw his face and he was just so focused. He was like, okay, that's the focus right there. Just zone out everything. It's just boom, it's just focused. All right. And so your brain is going to tell you, oh, this hurts, slow down, this sucks, you haven't done enough training, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too short, you're too tall, it's too windy, it's too hot, it's too cold, blah, 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 all these excuses. And so your job is just to like zone out and have awareness of what's going on around you. Otherwise you're going to have a mental crash, aren't you? You're going to crash mentally and you're going to run into things emotionally. And then you're going to be hating life. So that's what you want to do as well, is just zone out. And that's why I tell people don't use stimulants, because stimulants like coffee or whatever can be good if you're in a good headspace, but if you're not in a good headspace, if you don't know how to control your thoughts, then these stimulants can have you all floaty and flighty, which when you're trying to lock it down isn't a good thing. Because one minute you're like, I'm doing good, and the next minute you're like, I'm doing shit, this really hurts, this sucks. And then whatever you're focusing on, the stimulants will exacerbate that. So if you're thinking bad thoughts, the stimulants will make you think worse thoughts. And if you're thinking good thoughts, the stimulants will make you think even better thoughts. So, but you have to learn that mind control first before you start using any stimulants like caffeine, etc. Otherwise, you're going to have anxiety issues, and it's just, come on, man. Learn how to control your mind first without any stimulants or whatever. And then, if you want to, on race day, have them. But if it's warm, I don't recommend stims. I reckon you go slower in hot climates with stims. Cold weather, caffeine can be a benefit, etc. But in warm weather, in my experience, I think they're negative. Like, let's say I had to do a marathon and it was 40-degree temperatures or 30-degree, I wouldn't take any stimulants whatsoever. No way, because I'd be too hot and I'd be losing time. That's just my experience. And also, you're going to feel shit afterwards. I like done a marathon and feeling good afterwards. I don't want to be like mad dehydrated and mad cooked, because I abuse my hydration and stuff like that. So there you go. So hopefully that's a bit helpful for you. If you do think it's helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you think it's a load of shit, give it a thumbs down. And yes, pacing, mindset, clothing choices, footwear, sugar intake, keep your fat super low, vegan, so you don't have this big bowl of rotting meat in your gut bouncing up and down, things like that. Just things that just give you free speed. So I haven't talked about training at all. This is stuff that you can incorporate, and I guarantee you you'll go faster. Right? You just change little things. It's like a bit like your computer. Like, let's say what's something people can relate to? It could be like tying your shoelaces. I've shown you a way to tie your shoelaces for the same amount of effort, but you can do it faster. Instead of taking 10 seconds, you do it in 2 seconds, or 9 seconds, or 9.5 seconds. It's free speed, and these things carry on into your life as well. This ain't just about running, It's about being whatever you. These are performance tips, man. They apply to everything in life. It could be sex, it could be looking after the kids, it could be if you're a dancer, it could be if you're a cyclist. These things just totally work for everything because they support human physiology. Simple as that, right? So yeah, this ain't rocket science, but people out there try and make it rocket science so they can, you know, think that they're super special with stuff. But this is all basic shit, man. Every human should understand this stuff. Every 8-year-old kid can understand this stuff. But people often, oh, my podiatrist said, or my physiologist said, or my doctor said, or my nutritionist said. No, you can listen to them, or you can listen to this information. It's the best out there. There ain't nothing better than this stuff. Because I'm the little OCD guy who gleans it all off the top doping doctors, or the top runners, or the people who are, you know, getting out there and getting it done. And these are things that just totally work. So I hope you understand the value of this. And people ask me, Harley, you ran a 16:38 a few weeks ago. A 16:38 5k park run, and you're 42 and you run 400 k's this year. How'd you do that? Well, it's using all these little free tips. You know, what's the point of putting all that work in if you're going to lose time because you didn't control your head, you didn't have good shoes, you paced wrong, you wore too much clothing, got too hot, you didn't believe in yourself, you had too much food before the race, or not enough carbs the week before, not enough water because you didn't want to go pee at night time or whatever, you know. Or the dog was barking, so you're all stressing out for 3 hours before the race. So come on, man, you know, what's the point of putting all that work in, time away from your family, travel, money, etc., injuries or whatever, and then losing performance just because your ego doesn't want to believe it's so simple. See you on the road. Carb the fuck up, pace it well, stay hydrated, believe in yourself.